your trusted local news source, KCRG TV9.
Hello and welcome back to your trusted local podcast.
I am Beth and Becky.
I am Becky Phelps, and we have a topic for you today that I have spent the last 48 hours deeply entrenched in.
And I can't wait to learn more because I've only heard about this much of those 48 hours and I'm hooked, and I'm delighted to learn more about what you've learned.
Yes, so I went and talked yesterday morning with a Ukrainian family who is living in Iowa City. They are the Volkogon family, and they came to Iowa City a few years ago through a humanitarian parole program.
Like right when the war was starting?
No.
Oh.
No, they had a bit of a detour to get to the United States at all. So let's go back to 2022 when the war started in February, which I asked them about those weeks, those first weeks, those first days, what that was like, because they lived in Kyiv.
Okay.
And they told me they didn't expect the war at all. Like, they didn't expect the war. They thought the war was a thing of the past. The husband, Mykola and Svetlana, is the couple that I talked to. They have two children, Sasha and Oriana. And Mykola told me, we have been to space. We're curing cancers. The war is a thing of the past. That's what we thought.
Wow.
So they were not afraid before the war started. They were not very worried. And then the war started.
Yeah.
And they realized very quickly that things were not going to be good.
I mean, imagine that. You think things are going to be a political back and forth chess game. Suddenly Russia is invading, but because you did not think it was going to go literally to hell, you didn't make plans perhaps to live in a nation under a war zone.
Yeah, it's from the way they described it, just a terrifying first few days. The children didn't know what was going on. They were very young at the time. They're crying, they're screaming, the planes are coming low overhead. They decided very quickly, we have to at least get out of Kyiv.
Okay.
So they fled Kyiv, and they said it's usually a 10 or 12 hour drive. It turned into 22 hours because there were so many cars on the road, so many people trying to get out.
Sure.
And that was, frankly, the least of their problems because that road later was bombed and many people died trying to get out.
Oh my gosh.
So immediately they are, they're living the stuff of movies that we see. I've personally never experienced, war here in Iowa. It's terrifying stories.
And they have their two small children with them, which anybody who's traveled with small children under normal circumstances know that is just difficult. But to know you're fleeing literally for your lives and their lives is a level of stress I cannot think of a time I've been there.
Absolutely not. Mykola stayed in Ukraine for a while and sent Svetlana and the two children to Germany. His sister lived in Germany, and she'd been there for a while. So he said, you guys go. I'm going to focus on things here, try and help, but you guys get out. I can't focus if I'm worried about my family.
Yeah.
So he sent them to go live in Germany, and they were there about a year, I believe.
And how were they allowed there? Were they there on some sort of German humanitarian visa, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it didn't seem like a very complicated...
Germany, from my understanding, is one of the more accepting of refugees in Europe in general. So it would make sense to me that would be an okay place because it's obviously life of a refugee is very dicey, but you're also at the whims of the political leadership in the country you're trying to get to.
They did mention, and I thought this was an interesting tidbit, it's difficult to get a job there because in order to get a job in Germany, one of their main priorities is that you speak German and you speak it very well.
Okay.
So they're trying to prioritize Germans, obviously, in a lot of these careers.
Okay.
And so, they were taking like German classes regularly, like trying to learn German. Like that was like another thing on top of all of the other things that they're dealing with.
Because money is a reality, and so you're physically safe. You think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're fed, you're sheltered, maybe you're having access to medical care. But how are you buying shoes for the next school year? How are you eating and not just draining this kind sister who took you in?
Absolutely, you have to work. And Svetlana was a lawyer in Ukraine.
Oh my gosh!
And so that's an interesting tidbit where law doesn't translate very well. It's
Yeah.
in every country. You know, you have to learn a lot of new things. So she has had to adapt quite a bit to find different careers as she's moved around. We'll dig more into that later. Very interesting. So they're in Germany.
Okay.
And they realize maybe they aren't as safe as they thought.
Oh.
So they had been there, and one day Mykola gets a call from Svetlana, and her car has been attacked.
Like vandalized?
Vandalized.
Okay.
Someone has taken what they think was a knife, slashed the tires,
Oh, no.
scratched up the car, left Russian symbols.
Oh no, like a hate crime.
Like a hate crime.
Okay,
all over the car.
that's terrifying. That's why hate crimes are treated differently than, you know, run-of-the-mill
Yes.
vandalism is still problematic.
Yeah.
But when you don't feel safe in your skin, that is terrible.
This was not a coincidence. They had Ukrainian plates on the car.
Oh.
There were Russian symbols all over it, and they realized this isn't as safe as we thought it was. We need
Back to square one.
we're back to square one. We need to find another place to go.
Okay.
So they had some old friends, surprisingly, here in Iowa.
Okay.
About 10 years ago, Mykola had been doing some work with World Bank.
Oh yeah.
It's a program, and they were helping Ukrainian farmers become more sustainable, like smaller and medium-sized farms,
Okay.
helping them learn more sustainable practices.
Sure.
And they were recruiting independent agronomists to do that work. And John McGillicuddy from Iowa City was invited to participate and came all the way to Ukraine as part of this program to consult and help them become, you know, not just like learn the skills, but make decisions on their own and become more independent as farmers. And he came in 2015 was the first time he came over, and they would work side by side, Mykola and John, for very, very long days out on the farms. And the Volkogon family started to invite John into their home, say, come have dinner with us. They became very close friends. And that kept up. John, I think, has been to Ukraine dozens of times.
Oh wow, like they really formed a
Yeah.
beyond a consulting relationship.
That first program lasted about 5 years.
Okay.
But then there was some other work after that. So he's, you know, been to Ukraine many, many times.
Wow.
And when the war first broke out, they reached out to their friends and they said, hey, anything you need, just let us know. Also, we really think you should get out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. Immediately, they were like, we don't know exactly what to do here, but you should think about getting out. This is getting real dicey from our point of view. We're worried about you. Please look into some options.
Wow.
And of course, immediately in February, there weren't many options. People were figuring out what was going on.
They're also in shock.
Very much so.
Making decisions while you're in that state of paralysis is almost impossible. So they're in Germany. They don't feel safe there. They have this connection in Iowa. Did they immediately go there? Were there some detours between Germany and here?
They went from Germany to Iowa.
Okay.
That wasn't quite as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Then President Joe Biden had started this humanitarian parole program. They called it Uniting for Ukraine. It is not unique in theory or practice. This kind of humanitarian parole has been used many times. It's for people who had to flee their country because of war invasion.
Like imminent.
Yes.
And I take such issue with the word the government uses in this. The word parole in general society is often tied to the incarceration system.
Yes.
And so when you say, oh, this immigrant is here on parole, it honestly sounds like he or she committed a terrible crime, when in reality that's the name of the humanitarian sort of pass they get to enter the United States.
It is definitely a confusing,
really confusing.
word. But the first couple like emails and phone calls I was having with these families, I was like, can you walk me through parole one more time? What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's just the program.
And we dealt with this with covering government stories around immigration. They even would refer to them as like parolees, and I'm like, this is so problematic in my mind. But I feel better now. But I just wonder if the general public hears that and it gets a little panicky.
Absolutely. They're like, and who are these people coming to our country?
Yeah. What have they done?
They are refugees.
Yeah.
That is who they are. So the Uniting for Ukraine program, the McGillicuddys were like, hey, take a look at this, please.
Wow, they're really advocating.
Call us, text us, take a look at this. we love you guys. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, we could be a sponsor if that's a thing.
You have to have a sponsor.
Oh, you have to have one.
This is not like a put your name on a list, come on in kind of thing.
Gotcha.
You have to go through months of applications, months of reviews. This particular family has a cat.
Okay.
And they were joking that the cat had more paperwork than they did.
Well, because there is a thing about animals like carrying disease into other nations. I know that dogs have to be put in quarantine if they want to travel to Europe with their owners.
Yeah.
Yes,
This was
it's
the,
real.
The most relaxed cat I'd ever met, by the way. Really nice cat. These kids were like picking him up. And
that probably brings a sense of comfort to have the cat from the before times.
Everything has changed, but our pet is here. You know, that's very sweet.
Yeah, so when did they arrive in Iowa?
They arrived in Iowa July 16th, 2023.
Okay.
So they went months of paperwork and waiting and figuring out what to do, and they landed in Chicago.
Okay.
And the McGillicuddies were there to get them. And they had to wait like 4 or 5 hours for more customs questions, the final steps. The reason you have to have a sponsor, they have to make sure you're going to be okay. That you're not going to, that you're going to contribute to society once you get here.
You're not going to immediately be put in a pipeline of staying in a shelter and needing, that you at least have somewhere to go and people who can even help. I imagine language barrier. Do they speak English before they got here?
Yes.
Okay, good.
They
makes life easier.
Yes, much. So they got here and they lived with the McGillicuddies for a year and a half.
Wow.
And they spoke very fondly about those times, which was very sweet. They now live about 5 minutes away in their own home, but
so did they find housing? I mean, not just housing. Did they find work? Can you work in the U.S.?
Yeah, so that's, yes. Okay. Great question. Thank you. This is so much.
Yeah.
When I start to go down a rabbit hole, reel me back in.
Yeah.
The U2U program, it's a 2-year program.
Okay.
You get the humanitarian parole for 2 years, and it comes with work parole.
Awesome.
So you can work, and work they did.
Okay.
Svetlana is a stager for realtors. She stages homes.
Oh, cool.
And
way different from attorney work.
Much. She said she thought about going back to school.
Yeah.
She weighed that, but it's a very long path.
Oh, yeah, you got to pass the Iowa bar.
Yes.
I mean,
And so she very casually said, well, I just looked at my hobbies. And so I bake things. Yes. And I stage homes.
Wonderful.
And their home is lovely.
I bet it is.
I can tell. She does great work. And Mykola is at the University of Iowa.
So he was able to get out of Ukraine because his family went to Germany first, and he came straight to Iowa from Ukraine?
He was in Germany for a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of overlap there.
I'm glad he was able to get out. But also think of leaving behind your home.
And his whole family.
Oh.
Much of their family is still in Ukraine.
Oh my gosh. So he works at the University of Iowa. What does he do there?
He, what's the name of the program here? The UIHC Viral Vector Lab. He's a research assistant. And it fits right in with a lot of his qualifications. Okay. He said he's using all of his degrees. He was a Fulbright scholar. He's got a lot of experience.
In science.
Yes.
My kids are very sciencey, and so is my husband, and they talk about, STEM can be the universal language. You can have people who have no language in common, but if they're doing math together, they can largely figure it out. And science has obviously a lot of math in it. I find that intriguing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
The things that he mentioned, he's like, I was looking at this or this, and I could apply things here, but this seems to have been really the perfect fit.
So a 2-year visa parole. You said they came here early July, mid-July. We're at the 2-year mark, aren't we?
We have hit the 2-year mark, and there's the problem.
Oh, no.
They were told last year, don't worry, program's not over. Just renew.
Yeah.
You'll be good to go. Renew 6 months before. We'll get everything filed. You're good to go. That is not exactly how it's gone.
Because that was under a different administration.
That was a different administration. Yeah. So the short version is they are very much in limbo right now.
Okay.
The long version goes back to January when the Trump administration put all of the humanitarian parole programs on pause. Yep. They said, well, we have to conduct a review. We have to take a look at all of these and see what's really going on and if we really want to keep these up.
Okay.
And they were sued.
Who was sued?
The Trump administration.
Oh, for the refugee.
For pausing
Yes.
the programs. And a district court ruled in the favor of the folks who wanted their applications looked at.
Got it.
And those applications were supposed to be getting looked at starting in June.
Okay.
I believe the court decision came in May, and the applications for re-parole and work permits were supposed to be getting processed again starting in June.
Okay.
Still not quite how it's going. The Volkan family says that there's a little progress bar, where you can look
Sure.
at things. And the progress bar is not reliable.
Okay.
Svetlana was supposed to get a decision, according to the progress thing,
Yeah.
last week.
Okay.
And it was like, soon, like 10 days, we're working on it. And then it goes, just kidding, 2 months.
Oh, wow.
We're still looking.
Are they allowed to work while they don't have their parole in place anymore?
They are not.
Oh, shoot. So now no income coming in, and they have independent housing.
Yes.
Wow.
So now they are stuck,
Yeah.
settled in, have a home, had jobs, had their kids enrolled in dance and sports, volunteering for the PTA at elementary school, and now they have no income.
Wow. And no timeline on when they might be able to work again.
No timeline, despite the fact that this is supposed to be getting processed,
Yeah.
and the program hasn't been canceled.
No, it's actually been court ordered to continue.
Some of the programs the Trump administration did cancel.
We saw that with Catherine McCauley.
We did. We also just this week saw it with Ottumwa, the JBS meatpacking plant.
Oh, yes.
There were 200 workers in Ottumwa that had their legal statuses revoked because that particular program, let's see what countries.
Because that was also a temporary something.
It was the same kind of humanitarian parole program for Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, or Venezuela.
Okay.
Also created by the Biden administration.
Got it.
That program was full on canceled, and the Supreme Court ruled that those people can be deported now.
So 200 people in Ottumwa, do we know, are they actively being deported, or is it right now just a big question mark?
The mayor says they are being deported.
Okay, wow.
So
Is JBS able to backfill those jobs?
JBS didn't see,
yeah.
JBS publicly said we won't have a disruption.
Okay.
So we'll see, I suppose.
200 people, I mean, I don't know how many people work at JBS Foods, but that feels like that would be disrupting.
Seems like a lot. And Ottumwa's not the big of a community.
It's not, no.
So,
Okay.
yeah. There are other programs like this that are being full on disrupted.
Okay.
But the Uniting for Ukraine program is not canceled.
Okay.
It has been court ordered to be looked over
Okay.
for renewal, and yet they are not getting any word. So
Do they have
are
an
stuck.
attorney that's advocating for them?
So they mentioned they've talked to lawyers, and the
Okay.
lawyers have said, well, you should start by sending in your renewal. Well, we did that.
Yeah.
And you should start by checking out, this temporary protected status. Well, we did that.
Okay.
They also filed for temporary protected status. No word on that either.
Okay.
Well, what about your job? You work at the University of Iowa. You could apply for an H-1B visa.
Oh, yes, because I know that certain employers have used that lever in the past, specifically Collins Aerospace and its predecessor, Rockwell Collins, to bring in engineers because they source worldwide.
That is something to try.
Okay.
There is a downside to that.
Okay.
You can't get an H-1B visa while you're in the country.
Oh.
So he would have to leave the country,
Okay.
forfeit his other applications,
Got it.
hope he gets this new visa.
Yeah.
On the off chance that all works out, he does get the visa, he can come back and have
Okay.
this job.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Svetlana has gotten the other things, maybe she hasn't. If she hasn't, he could list her as a dependent,
But then she can't work.
but then she can't work.
Yeah.
So they are down to one income again,
Okay.
which is better than no income. But how do you know which avenue to pick?
Do they have a community of people who are also dealing with this, at least in Iowa, or are they getting support online? I just think of when you feel like the only one going through this slog, the isolation, the fear, frankly, the depression. Do they know of others who are also fielding this reality?
There's an Iowa-wide program that is trying to help. I don't know that they're close to any of the other families.
Okay.
The McGillicuddies have really rallied their community.
Awesome.
They have a lot of connections to farmers in the area, and they have been pushing all of their community, all of their contacts, to try and get this solved. And that is actually how we found out about this story here at TV9.
Okay, yeah. How did this land on your desk? Because we get the same general emails into the newsroom and we share a team, so I see what other people are doing. This, in my mind, came out of nowhere.
A little bit. Not to me, though. To our coworker, Danielle Wagner.
Oh, love her.
Someone she went to high school with.
An old wine.
Emailed Danielle.
Amazing.
And said, hey, I got this email, Danielle, from some people that I know, the McGillicuddies. And they're trying to rally support for this Ukrainian family they know. Any chance, you might be able to do something about that.
Yeah.
Might be able to hear them out.
Well, it's also, we are always looking for news and how political decisions impact real people. Because we often, how many times have you read stories during your newscasts where it's this court decision or this executive order or this policy changing this program, and it's all official. You don't see the people behind it, but this allowed you to tell the story literally through the eyes of a family living in Iowa City.
It's very unique, not only to get to talk to people, but to be let into their home, to see their life, to meet their kids, to talk to their kids. Sasha is 10. He's going into 5th grade, and he has so much energy. He was telling me he just scraped up his nose recently and running around with his friends, and they are so excited to be in school, and they do so many clubs and sports. They've traveled a lot. They went to California recently.
Oh, wow.
They're really trying to see the United States.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we get to look into other people's lives like that. And really understand how they're being impacted.
I saw a recent story, Becky. The Associated Press printed it about a woman who had a newborn or a very young child that she was still nursing, married to a member of the Marines here in the United States, and she was recently detained. Her nation of origin is Mexico, and she did not have permanent legal status, or if she did, it expired, or I don't know the details there, and it looked like she was about to be deported. And a Republican U.S. Senator stepped in, and she's back with her family right now. It's an example of how people in high places can pull certain levers. It doesn't change the reality, doesn't change the policy, doesn't change the reality for thousands or millions. It changes the family for one. Have the Iowa legislature, lawmakers in D.C. who are from Iowa, some of which are very, at least publicly, close with the president. Are they trying to pull any levers here?
The McGillicuddies said that they have tried to reach out. They are having some conversations. I believe they've reached out to Ashley Hinson.
Okay.
I believe Joni Ernst as well. They've had some talks. They don't seem very optimistic about that route.
Okay.
They are asking people to go to the whitehouse.gov website and write letters directly to President Trump.
Like a letter writing campaign pleading for this family.
Yes. Their idea of a best case scenario. Because they're not just thinking about themselves. They want it fixed for every family.
That's what I mean. You can get, yeah.
Their idea of a best case scenario right now is for President Trump to issue an executive order renewing this parole program.
Specifically for refugees from Ukraine.
Specifically for Uniting for Ukraine.
Do we have any idea how many people are in the same position as this family?
At least 100,000.
Whoa.
Across the country.
Okay, that's way more than I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. And the war is ongoing.
The war is ongoing, and that's not going back to Ukraine is not a good option.
So what is their long-term vision with this family? And say their last name again. Volkogan. Does the Volkogan family, these 4 individuals, are they envisioning returning to their homeland someday, or are they we would like to establish roots in the United States, or do they just not know?
It's hard to know.
Okay.
They've said that. I asked them what it felt like for there to be this much uncertainty around their renewal status, and they went, "We've lived in uncertainty for years. It's become the norm. That is just like that's how we exist now. Is not knowing."
Are they okay? I would be in many small pieces.
I could not believe the way that they were so calmly sharing their story about, wondering, what do we do if the police come tomorrow?
Sure.
What do we do? How do we talk to our kids? How do we deal with this and then go downstairs and say to our kids, time to do homework?
Yeah, you didn't make your bed today,
Yeah.
and I've asked you for 3 mornings in a row. So they can't work.
They can't work.
Are they at risk of deportation?
It doesn't seem so right now because
Okay.
the program is still on.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's
So they're, like you said at the start, they're in limbo.
they're just waiting.
Okay.
And, you can go after the H-1B, HB1?
Yeah.
HB1? So many names.
I know.
But how do you know? Will a decision come in 2 months?
Well, and
Will it not?
you take the risk, you leave out the United States, and you cancel all your other applications to apply for the H-1B. No, that sounds too risky.
It does. It feels too risky.
Yeah.
And what if you get it and your wife doesn't?
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Do you go back to Germany where you were hate crimed?
Where you feel unsafe.
Yeah. Do you try a whole new country? Do you uproot your kids who have spent 1 year learning Ukrainian, 1 year learning German, 1 year learning English?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, I'm so grateful that they opened up their story and their home to you so that we could better understand the impact of this particular parole program.
It is really, it's interesting to imagine how this is impacting families across the country, how, you have to have a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, American families probably in most states who have vouched for a Ukrainian family, who the Ukrainian family came and they got jobs, they were employed, they are contributing to society.
It's so interesting because, one of my, a person I think is just fascinating in state government is a woman by the name of Debbie Durham.
We've heard a lot about Debbie Durham recently.
She's the head of the whole economic system here in the state of Iowa, and she has served for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
She, when she gives her speech, and she has a shtick she does when she goes to different chambers of commerce all across the state, she says generally the same thing: have more babies. We need more Iowans. Our biggest barrier to economic growth and success is that we don't have enough of you. And it's kind of jokey and it's kind of funny and it's a funny thing to say in a room of suits, but she's not kidding around the population thing. And so what we have here is 2 people who by all accounts are well-adjusted, decent humans trying to work with kids in the system, in the school system, and they're not allowed to.
And that is something that they highlighted as so frustrating.
Right?
They want to be in society. They are not asking for handouts. They want to contribute. They are, and Nicola said, we are capable. We're not being allowed to.
Correct.
Which has got to be so frustrating. He recently went to try and get his driver's license renewed. It expires in 2 months. And they said, we don't know if we can do that.
Yeah, that also feels like it's in limbo because you have to have paperwork determining not just your state of residence, but your status legally to get that license. Even if it's temporary status, you have to have something that shows. And right now, their status is a big question mark.
Yep. Which is just a frustrating place to be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. We will continue to update with this family as, we learn more about the program. We'll see if in 2 months we have an answer. Maybe we will. Recently, I will add this, some local Ukrainian papers were providing the most recent update from President Trump about Ukrainian refugees.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because I could not find this reported other places than, I believe, Kyiv Independent is the paper. And they said that just several days ago, President Trump was asked about Ukrainian refugees, and he said, "Yeah, I think we're going to work with them. We have so many. Like, we're gonna work on that." Expressed the first positivity about this that he has expressed in a while.
And that it was on his radar. And that does matter. Right now in this
Yes.
political moment, the president's whims, if you will, matter.
Absolutely. So again, that was reported by some local Ukrainian papers.
Okay.
So we will see if the president makes any kind of decision on this.
And if people want to see and hear the family themselves, your stories are at kcrg.com.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, you can see them there. You can, for special viewing, Svetlana shared with us a song that she wrote
Oh, wow.
about her family's experiences that she recently performed to a community choir that she's participating in, another group that they're in.
Wow, and you are very active in the arts, and you recognize having that creative outlet to communicate your sorrows and your joys can be incredibly powerful.
That's one of the few moments I almost cried during an interview.
I believe it.
It's a very powerful moment. So that will all be under this story on kcrg.com. You are welcome to go in and hear more directly from the Volkon family.
Wonderful. Becky, thank you for your reporting and for sharing it with us today.
Right. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great week.
Later. Gator.